Earlier this week, the High Republic Issue 3 was released and thickens the plot even more. We pick up back in the Temple of Kyber with Vildar attempting to face off against the Wills, when he learns that the Wills aren't there to stop the Jedi, but the traitor instead. That traitor being Tey Sirrek. Matthew tries and pleads to get on Tey's side and tries to get an explanation, but Tey has had enough, knowing that it was a bad idea to return to the temple anyway, and decides to leave. We then see that 5 years ago, Tey was in fact a guard for the Temple of Kyber, and one day ran after a child who was caught pickpocketing with the help of a very familiar droid. Tey caught up with the child and thought that the chase was over, but was caught by surprise and flashbanged by the droid. Back in the present, we find the Jedi walking with the Wills, explaining that they came to the temple in search of an artifact known as the Firebird of Kolsassa. The Wills are trying to reassure the Jedi that the artifact is still safely on display in the temple, only to discover that it really is missing, which they find surprising as the Wills say that it's a fairly insignificant item. Matthew continues trying to say that Tey was helping them, but due to his past, the Wills have no inclination to trust what Tey has said or done, including him looking into the death of a sister of Sarav. We then get another flashback to Tey's time as a guard, where we see him going after the same child yet again when he's met by the boy's boss, Anst Wozo, who takes the boy and walks away. The next day, however, the boy's droid Scoot comes racing back to Tey to grab his attention and directs him to a hole in the side of a building where he finds the gruesome sight of children, dead or injured, just thrown in a hole, with one of these children being the same one he had been chasing, only he wasn't lucky enough to survive his injuries. Tey immediately is filled with rage and goes after Wozo on the street, breaking the tank around his head and walking away, leaving Wozo to suffocate. Leading us back to the present once again, Tey finds himself hating the fact that he must go back inside the temple to try to help with the cause. Except when he enters the temple through a window, it's simply the wrong place and the wrong time, as he finds a device under a shelf that appears to be an explosive. Tey tries to explain that he found it, but Vildar smacks it out of Tey's hand, leaving us on a massive explosion until the next issue. Overall, I once again am very pleased with this comic run. We're getting great backstory on all of the characters, and Tey is really turning out to be an awesome character. My only real problem with the comic is that we were introduced to a lot of characters in the first issue, and they have yet to resurface. I know the comic line isn't over yet, but I wonder when they will pop back up, as I don't want the story to get too far ahead of the rest of the cast in this comic. But other than that, Cavan Scott succeeds yet again in his fantastic storytelling skills. But what were your thoughts on issue 3? I wasn't expecting it to get as dark as it did in Tey Sirrek's flashback, but it definitely makes his character more interesting. Let us know all of your thoughts on issue 3 down in the comments below, and be on the lookout for my review of The Blade issue 1 coming out in the next few days. As always, thank you to everyone who stuck around to this point in the video, and we hope to see you again very soon.